Hello everyone, Imposter here. Welcome back to some daily races. Been busy doing tunes and such, so I figured I'd take a break, hop online, give it a go at some of this week's races. Starting off here with Group 4 at Trial Mountain. I gotta be honest, I'm not super great at Group 4. To be honest, I definitely excel in Group 3, but I figured we'd give it a go anyway, because I haven't really done it too much, so figured might as well improve. So starting off here with the SLS AMG, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I'm the only one, probably not the only one here, but when I am the only one in the room using a certain car, I start to have regrets and question my choices in life, and so that's what I was doing here as I started off the first race. So anyway, put in a pretty lame qualifying time. I only got time for one lap, and then the second one was interrupted. And I realized I'm not going to show too much of this race because it was pretty bad. As you can see in these examples here, I found out partway through the race that my pedals were not plugged all the way into my wheelbase. So I was getting varying signals from my pedals, and that was why I was diving farther into some corners and it felt like I didn't have full car control, and it's because I didn't. But I ended up at least being able to catch up to the guy who was in last after my few spinouts, and went back and forth with him a little bit on the last lap, and I just didn't want to come in last. You know, I thought it'd be at least an accomplishment that I could finish not completely last after spinning out a few times and having intermittent pedals. So I have this theory where once you start a race, you have to finish it. So that's why I didn't didn't pause to fix the pedals. Treated it like a mechanical failure. Just kind of deal with it, figure out a solution, and move on and thrive. And so that's what I was doing here by moving up into 12th position to finish out this race. So started 12th, ended 12th. Not bad. I'm just kidding. That's not great at all. But hey, first race. Call it a warm-up. And I don't know what those sound effects there were. It sounded like someone crashing. Maybe someone crashed in pit. Not entirely sure. But anyway, rounded out this race. Didn't gain any positions, didn't learn too much, kind of just a warm-up. Here's the thing though, is that I figure if sometimes you don't win, you can just buy your happiness, right? So I'm like, okay, new car, new me, new race, new opportunities. So that's what I did, went for the 155. And you know, actually this was a car I wanted anyway. It appeared in Legends, figured I should go for it. Figured this was the key to my success, since a few other people were using it in the last race and they were in front of me. That's how the thought process went. So off I went, spent the money, got the car, severely detuned it for balance of power, and proceeded to put in an absolutely blistering lap of 202.085. Yeah, just a tick over 202. And I know that's not excruciatingly fast. But anyway, look at me. I put myself in 9th place. But once again, I'm the only person in this room using this car. So my theory is not able to be tested here now, because someone else in the room has to have the car as well. So I was the Lone Ranger in this race once more, but figured I would give it a go anyway. Never driven this car. This is actually the very first time I'd be driving it. So let's just see how it goes. At least here in 9th, we can make it around this first corner. I don't know if you saw in the last race, in the first corner, that's where I started, like right there. And it's just a really awkward and terrible place to start. So at least put me on the straightaway. I was happy for that. So the 155 seems to be better on the straights than the SLS. And this one is all-wheel drive as well. So it should do a little bit better in the corners and keep me more in the runnings, keep it a little more interesting. So straight away I started catching up to the Scirocco in front of me. He goes a little bit wide through the first corner, so that allows me to get right up on him as he pulls a Tokyo drift through that turn. Amazing. And for whatever reason through this turn I always managed to kick the back out. I don't know if I was just stabbing the brakes too hard or whatever it was, but struggled with that with this car. That was really the only corner that it felt unsettled. The rest of the time it felt pretty dang solid through a lot of this track. I think it was a good fit. Faked him out by going to the inside there. Kind of worked because he went way wide. Didn't actually take the line, but he gave way and I threw him off. So that worked out. Ended up getting past him here. Down the back straight. straight line speed of this car is pretty darn good. He's in my draft right now. Mostly holding him off, but he does gain a few miles an hour on me. Pulls out to the left on the inside, so he's got the inside line for the turn. I figured I would try and brake a little bit early, maybe pull back inside, but he braked at the exact same time, so I had to leave him room. As we both just went around the turns on our respective lines. Thought he was a little farther ahead of me there, so I went way left. I might have scared him a little bit. It looked like he backed off there, so my aggressive driving tactics are really working wonders for me. As I approach this trio of what looks to be fairly full of contact, their racing tactics, so being careful as I approach them into the second to last turn here. And as you can see, they're all kind of slowing each other down because they took this turn really slowly. But I misjudged where Panama was. He went a little wide, bounced off the wall, and I proceeded to bounce off of him. I was hoping I could just go up the inside and just get really close to him and make my way past. But jumping to the back straight here as we tail these two. I think usually without the draft I top out at about 140-ish down this back straight, so with the draft we gain about 10 miles an hour, so call it TRS for Trial Mountain. But I was way too focused on these two. I completely missed my braking zone, went way deep into the corner. Luckily it was four-wheel drive, so I can pull a sick drift, but it did allow this here yellow Subaru to get in front of me, so I yielded the position since I was the one practicing poor driving tactics. Let him get in front of me without too much drama. And then as we moved to the front straight again, this lap was a little interesting. So you can see here, the Subaru is clearly going to go for the inside line. The GTR then brakes twice, and so I'm going way faster than he is. He was just trying to yield for the Subaru. But it throws me off my line. I dive way deep into the corner, and then I would think right here I would take the inside line. And he did not see me take the inside line. So he just, booted me right off the track. And then, promptly proceeded to leave the lobby after just kicking me off. So that did not go very well. But in all honesty, I'm not really sure who was completely at fault there. I don't think it was anyone's fault, really. It just got hectic through the wrong turns. And that happens. We'll just call it a racing incident. Maybe I was trying to be a little too aggressive in my passing, because those are definitely high-speed turns. So as we continue on with more races on this track, I'll make note of that maybe it just is not the best place overall to pass. But anyway, finishing up this race, pretty straightforward to the end. The 155 is pretty good at handling. There's just a few turns I couldn't really nail it on. Into this tunnel here, for one. Kept messing that up. Not really sure why, but I'll keep playing around with it. It still didn't prove my theory, though, of a car that everyone's using, since I, once again, was the only one in this lobby using this car. So, had to try again with another more popular vehicle. But anyway, ending in 9th here. Wrapping up this race. And these two up here decided to skirmish. Panama tried to push the guy to not beat him across the line, but then ended up with a penalty. In which case you can see they have the same time. They literally would have tied had he not gotten a penalty. They would have had to share 7th place had he not gotten that penalty. But maybe he will learn something next time around and not end up ramming into someone across the finish line. But anyway, collect my clean race bonus and get on with it. And as I mentioned, we didn't prove my point of buying a more popular vehicle. So back to Brand Central we go to claim exactly that. The Group 4 GTR. Now I knew for a fact that I would never be the only one in the room with this car based on what I was seeing. So felt safe in making this decision and this purchase. Did the dang thing. Got the car. Back to Trial Mountain we go. Feeling good. This was the right decision. I was feeling confident that this was the route. And so did a no better than previous 202.3. Couldn't really figure out the braking zones in this car. For some reason I was struggling to nail those down. But good enough to land me 7th in this lobby here. So sitting right behind Sonic the Hedgehog himself in his own liveried car. So that'll be fun. But not as much fun as this guy in first is having, laughing his butt completely off as he qualifies first, I guess, is the funny part. So, anyway, as we start the race here, feeling pretty good about it. And when we're starting, buddy Mike here in the blue GTR just decides to chat with his friend or visit the refrigerator at the start of the race. So just like that, up into 6th place on the very first straightaway. That's how good we are. Feeling even better about this race. Took kind of a funky line through here. Wasn't the best line as Sonic pulls away from me a little bit out of that corner. But pretty drama-free start to this race. First few laps were textbook, we'll call it. And completely perfect. And there you saw Mike left the room. So 13 total racers. Tried to go up the inside on Sonic there. Did not work at all. It was going way too quick. So fell in back behind him just for another lap or so. Trying to keep up with the pack. But yeah, I was getting the hang of the GTR. I think it is a fairly easy car to drive. Not really any nuances unexpected. But going through these turns, it's getting a little more comfortable. Kind of catching up to Sonic just a little bit. And then this guy in 4th there loses it. I think he touched the grass a little bit on the left side. And then at the same time, the gentleman in 2nd disconnects. So once again, my extreme racing prowess has paid off, as we are now close to the podium, as I'm sneaking up on Sonic here. He is a tricky one to catch and surprise, but I'm getting close. You know, I'm right in the slip here as we're on the main straight again. And so I'm thinking back to the last race, right, of how that turn went when I was with Mr. Oblivious and his buddy, and thinking how I should do this. So I'm going to go inside, but then decide I don't have enough speed, and so I think I confused Sonic there because he thought I was going to go around. He braked to get behind me, and then I didn't move, and he ended up making me smash into him, which is my fault. I'll take the blame for that. And in turn, I did not realize how close he was to me. Thought I was farther away from him. Just a really big mess, honestly, and I end up with a 3-second penalty for what looked like I was trying to force him off the track, which I could understand where the confusion came from there. But I wasn't, I guess, thinking about it that way. I thought he had a better eye on me and the radar, maybe. So I guess I just don't give people enough credit with how they yield, which is something I need to have more faith in with other people. But I have my reasons of why I don't, you know. There are some people that just don't want you to win, and they'll stop you at any cost. So did my 3 seconds there. One person snuck past me there as we get our speed back up down the main straight. So kind of disappointing. I did want to end up getting past him on the straight. You know, I did end up getting past him in the end, but not close enough to the podium. So I guess I just need to practice that corner. Honestly, that might be what it comes down to. With some opponents in the mix, because I clearly am struggling big time on that. But either way, 4th place, best finish. So in my head, I'm thinking that this theory does work. You just have to buy your way to the right cars, and in turn, better finishes. And then you will be happy, and that is the recipe to keeping your happiness levels at an all-time high. Spend a bunch of money, run some people off the track, get confused in some corners, win. That's it. That's the formula. You're welcome. No clean race bonus this time round, but in my mind, I didn't need it. I was on top of the world with 4th place. But anyway, guys, that's all I have. This trio of races was pretty fun. I think I learned maybe a few things about how to pass and how I should handle stuff going forward. So I will keep at it. Keep doing some daily races here on out, and if you guys liked what you saw, please consider liking, please consider subscribing, as there'll be more of these, more tuning videos that I'll be making coming up. So thank you for watching, guys. See you next time.